This is Dave from Yargmetal, and I'm with
Peter of Mean Streak.
And Andy.
from Mean Streak.
Yeah.
And we are actually here in Sweden, and by the way, Peter's got a very lovely car. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I know her.
my little Peugeot.
Yeah, very nice. So we got a few questions that we wanted to ask you about Mean Streak, and one of the things is, how did the band get together? And
Well, I think that's Peter's part.
Well, we started out as a
Tribute band, right?
yeah, sort of we used to play in an Iron Maiden tribute band back in the days, me and Andy. And we used to go all around Scandinavia doing these Iron Maiden shows. And at some point, I do remember, because I have a studio, and nowadays it's only a small project studio, but back then it was a larger one. And I remember I was sitting in my studio one day just playing guitar for fun. And all of a sudden I realized that we are out playing these Iron Maiden songs, these cover songs that we are grown up with, and these Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, all these bands that we grow up with. I could actually write those songs myself, or at least I could try, because I've written a whole lot of other music. So why not try to write the music that's from my heart? That's who I am. So I started to just do that. And the first song I did was a song called Rock City. It's on the first Mean Streak album, Metal Slave album. And from there, I just the first guy that comes to mind who can do the vocals, that would be Andy, of course, because he did the vocals in the Iron Maiden tribute band we were playing in. So he get the first question, and then he was hooked on it, and he started to write. You started to write the second song or the third song, I think.
Yeah, Carved in Stone,
Yeah.
I think. At that point I was in several other bands that was remains of the grunge music.
Yeah, we were in the middle of the grunge era.
It wasn't my kind of music, but I never find a person to play the music I wanted. And when Peter started doing those songs, I found the right way again. You know?
Yeah, and then we did it like everything else. We built it slowly. So we said, okay, we're going to do 4 songs, just to record 4 songs, and then we're going to have a beer and laugh. And then we made 4 more songs, and then we said, maybe we should do an album. And then we had like 12 songs, and then we had the album. And before we know it, we had a record deal with one of Sweden's biggest metal label, actually. And it was just like, what the hell happened, you know?
What do we do now?
Yeah, so what do we do now? So what we did was we toured a bit in Sweden, playing club gigs, and we immediately started. No, we get a license in Japan, so we have a Japan release as well, and we started to write the second album, Declaration of War album, and then we know that this is going to turn into a band. This is going to be a band, and we're going to do this for real. And then they invited us to come tour in Japan, and I was okay, sure enough. Actually, the release day of the Declaration of War was when we landed in Tokyo for the first time. So and they've been very generous to us in Japan, and they really embraced us. And from there, well, of course, we just kept on doing it.
you guys had to be on cloud 9 thinking, wow, this is really happening.
Yeah, because we have played in many bands, and we have been around for many years, but never really gotten in to find our thing.
No, he's been playing in other bands.
Yeah.
Me and all type of.
But you've made
bands.
it. You had a record label. You're in Japan, and
Yeah, at that point.
you had to think, we've got it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
That had to be extremely exciting times.
yeah, it was really, and we did a couple of good shows in Japan, and well, we figured after that it was actually, we had actually a couple of good deals going on for us. We should tour with Udo in Europe, and we should do much other stuff, but due to circumstances that we could not foresee or do anything about, we lost not one but two guitar players in a very short time. So we have to reconsider what should we do now. And what we did was we started writing the third album. We started on the
Trial by Fire.
Trial by Fire album. And we experimented somewhat, a little bit with the sound. We tried to expand it a little bit because
We went to London, me and Peter,
Yeah, we went to
just
London.
to see Def Leppard and Motley Crue and Steel Panther.
yeah, and
Steel Panther's still around.
Steel
Yeah,
Panther, yeah, they were the best band that night.
This was some years ago,
Yeah.
before our third album, Trial by Fire. And when we came home, everything sounded like Def Leppard.
Yeah, we were really inspired actually because we do like those bands. Now, Def Leppard is a British band, but we do like American bands as well. I mean, they are in our record box, so to speak. So
If you don't mind me asking, was the two guitar players leaving that short a time, was that a surprise, or were there frictions, or just...
Yeah.
David left to join Soilwork,
Soilwork, yeah.
and he had our blessing, of course. I mean, who
Yeah,
wouldn't?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course. And the other guy, Patrick, that was health issues actually.
That's
He didn't
too
want to
bad.
tour. He didn't
So
want
it just... But was that a surprise to you guys when that all happened?
Kind
Because
of.
that really had
Kind
to
of.
push you
He
guys.
had his problems through the years we played together, but
We love him and he's a great guy and everything, but
That's-
he made that decision
that's
and he
tough.
say, I don't want to tour anymore. I just want to sit in my studio and write music and play my guitar. So, okay, fine with us. We're sorry that you feel that way because Patrick is a really, really talented guitar player. And Patrick and David together, that was incredible.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
Wow.
But
Now I have a question for Andy real quick.
Yeah.
When did you start to know that, hey, I'm a singer?
um,
Because a lot of
That
people
took-
want
it
to
took a
be
lot of
singers,
time.
right? And then it's like it just they don't have the singing is like even if you're not a natural musician, you can learn to play if you just keep at it.
you know, I'm
Singing,
guitar,
you have to have
I'm
some
a guitar
gift.
player from the start. I'm a guitar player, and when we started this mean streak from scratch, I did some demoing on the vocals, and then I asked Peter, well, shall I play the guitar or do I sing? So he said that if you sing as great as on the demo, but just a little better, then you're the singer.
Then you are the singer.
So I pushed myself, and it came out pretty well.
That's great, and
And
now
then,
you are the
then,
singer.
Then I was a singer. So,
That's
but
fantastic.
I play guitar as well on almost all the records.
yeah, but you told me another story when you went to Denmark in the studio.
Yeah, I was playing guitar with a Danish band called at the time they called themselves Twilight, and then they became Beyond Twilight, I think. And I was going down there to do some guitar solos, and I called him, the Danish guy who had the band, the day before I got there, and asked him, which songs do you want the guitar solos? And he said, no, you're gonna sing instead. So
You're
I
the
came
singer.
down there, and then I met up with the producer of Halloween's
Oh, wow.
Keeper of the Seven Keys, Tommy Hansen, I think. And he taught me some things about vocal. So
I know
That's-
Halloween,
it
that
started
guy's
like
quite a
that.
vocalist, so
yeah.
that's fantastic. Now we talked a little bit about some of your influences. Any influences that would surprise listeners?
Probably a lot because we do listen to other music.
Yeah. If you ask me which kind of guitarist I listen to, so I have to say Ace Frehley.
And he just played
That's
in Maryland.
surprising, huh?
Yeah, and he was just in Maryland playing.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us about the recording of your first album, Metal Slave.
That was done in my studio, and we pretty much did everything by ourselves, or I was the technician and the producer and everything, I have to say, because, and back in the days we used to record on ADAT recorders. That is, for the young people who are listening to this, before the computer.
Tape.
We did not record in the computer, we record on tape, on Super VOS tapes in Alesis ADAT machines. And I had 3 of those synced, so I had 24 channels, and that's it. And to me, I mean, working with 2-inch reel machines, I've been working with, I'm old, you know, so I done all that. So to me, that was a state of the art at that time, and it was affordable, but it lacked some of the sort of, you could not do anything that you can do today in Pro Tools. But nevertheless, we recorded it that way, and we had the drums made by Jonas. Jonas was actually a session drummer from the beginning because we did not really have a band. We had thought of a vague idea about making a band, as I told you before. So we called Jonas and said, "Do you want to play drums on this?" And he said, "Hey, hell yeah, why not?" And you have to remember, this is 2007 or 2008 or something when we recorded it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So there was not many bands around playing traditional heavy metal. Everybody was playing, well, not that anyway.
Post-grunge.
Yeah, and we needed a drummer that could play the double bass drum. Who could do that? Nobody. Everybody was go, ga, go, ga. But we need, who can do that? Jonas could do that. So we called him, and he said, "Yeah, sure." And he recorded the drums in his studio in another town here, and then we recorded the guitars and the bass and the vocals in my studio.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was sitting like the old-fashioned way, doing the production, playing rec. Oh, that's a good one. No, sorry, have to do it again. That's no. Okay, let me listen to it. No, it's not good. So it take forever. It took us like a couple of months. Seriously, it was just crazy.
Wow.
Today, you just send the files to Andy. Here's a demo. Listen to it. Do your guitar tracks, and send them to me, and I will put them together, and I will sort of make it work. Back then, you have to be in the studio. You have to be there recording it, and it was actually fun when you think about it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, and there was some nights when we were like, I remember when we did the first song on the album, which is actually the song that we start the concerts with now. We've just been on a European tour, and we still start every show with "Whom the Gods Love Die Young." And when we did that song, I remember we were really drunk that night. We had a couple of beers and 2,000 shots or something, because we think, "Oh my gosh, we finally made this song that we wanted to do."
If you listen to the interview with Udo, he talks about, I think when they did Balls to Wall, I think he had
Balls to
been,
the Wall.
yeah.
Those are the moments that
I think
you
he said he
still
was
remember, you know,
publicly intoxicated, is
Yeah.
I think the word he used.
because it's like, it happens so rarely. Sometimes you just, bam.
It just happens,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how you do a hit. You drink a lot of beers, right?
Yeah, it must be.
We probably
Yeah.
drank after we played it because it's fairly good played.
How did you guys meet or hook up with Max Norman?
That was Plick.
Thomas,
yeah.
who he mastered all of our records, I think.
Yeah, and Thomas is also a guitar player with Mean Streak nowadays. But I think that we had done 3 albums, and we were to do, this is a pretty long story, but I'll try to keep it short. I've been living in Spain for a year, writing the material for the Blind Faith album. And at that point, we were really in a sort of low position, because we had made the Trial by Fire and not really get the response that we wanted. So we were like, well, maybe we should just stop doing this, or maybe not. We didn't know. Nothing really was happening. But anyway, I moved to Spain, and I had a lot of time to kill. So I write music. I brought my studio, my project studio with me, and I sat there and writing, and things were sort of coming to me in some ways, and I sent some songs to Andy, and he said, yeah, you're onto something, just keep on doing it. And about a year later, my mother was really sick, and I was like, well, maybe I should move back to Sweden. So I did, and when I moved back to Sweden, I have 12 or 13 songs with me. So I played them to the guys and say, maybe we should do an album of this. And if you want to contribute with any songs or feel like you want to change anything, just feel free to do so, because this is what I have come up with. And everybody say, hey, these are great songs. Let's just put them on an album. And Thomas say, you know what would be really cool? That would be to have an old school producer, mixer that have done this before and that should be brought into this band. From a guy that we all have big respect to do this. And that would be Max Norman, he say. And I was like, sure enough. I love the guy's work. I love.
He did a Black Sabbath.
Yeah, he did everything. He did Ozzy, you know. So Thomas said, well, I have him on Facebook in some producer mixer group or whatever they are into. So he said, I just send him an email. So he did. The first message on Facebook, he didn't answer, of course, because he gets a shitload of those.
Yeah.
And well, anyway, he say, I will send him a picture of my studio. Just 1 second, I have to
Start again.
So he sent him a picture of his studio, of his mixing console, which is an SSL console. And then he got an answer, and then Max said, whoa, that's a pretty neat console you have there. And he said, yeah, of course, blah, blah, blah. And they talked about the console for a while, and then he said, maybe you should come over to try out the console, and maybe you should mix, because I'm in this band called Mean Streak. Maybe you should come over and mix
One song.
One song. Yeah. And he said, yeah, well, sure enough, I can do that. You just fly me there, and I come and mix it. So I think we had a genius plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we brought Max in, and he mixed the first song, which is Retaliation Call from the Blind Faith album. And he mixed it, and it sounded amazing. We have to have a short talk with him before, because when he come, he believed that we wanted to sound like Lynch Mob or something, with sort of a big drums and everything. But we said, no, we're actually more into the old Aussie thing, you know, the more old school heavy metal thing that you used to do. So, and when he got that, he sort of just started working, and you can see that he liked it, and we liked it, and everybody was happy. And by the grace of God, there was time left when he was finished with the first song. So we said, well, do you have any other song? Do you have any other song I can listen to?
We were out drinking beers,
Yeah.
and he said, and we started talking about the Lynch Mob album. I really love that one. So, and he said, it was pretty good snare drum on that album, he said. And I was like, yeah, I was. Do you want that snare drum sound on your album? I don't think that would fit. I said, but we have one song that it maybe would fit on. So let's listen to it, he said. And then we got back to the studio and listened to it, and he said, this one is even better. So...
Yeah, and then he did Caught in the Crossfire, which was the second song that he mixed. And after he mixed the two songs, he went back to New York, and well, we were probably, I think, under the influence of a couple of beers, we said that we should probably hang out and do the rest of the album together as well, because he liked it, we liked him. He felt like a member of the band, you know. Mm-hmm. He was like the guy, and so he went to the States, and he came back a couple of months later, and we finished the mixes, and we've been working ever since, actually. Actually, I'm going to New York in August to finish up some new material with him, because we are. I trust him with his knowledge, and he's not only a great mixer. He's also a very, very talented musician. He has the ears.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he has the. Maybe you should try have double chorus here. Maybe you should try. He's a producer as well.
He rearranged a couple of songs
Yeah.
on our last
Yes, he
album.
did.
So.
And so we work really good together. And he haven't heard anything of the new material that is written for the next album that we are working on right now. But I will let him know in August, and we will take the last sort of final look at the songs again together, and then hopefully, probably, I would say definitely he will mix it the next album as well.
Wow. Tell us about some of your favorite concerts that you've performed at. I don't know if any of the recent ones or any
And
of
we
your favorite.
performed at
Apparently Japan.
Tokyo is really
That's really it for you guys.
Blatna in Czechoslovakia is really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but seriously,
there's
those
like
are two different
6,000
things.
people in Blatna, and I think they were there, all of them.
Yeah,
And they appreciate the music then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Czechoslovakia is
That was a
good.
Saturday. Everybody likes to drink beer on a sunny day.
But I think that when we go to Japan, we weren't really that satisfied with the first show in Osaka.
No.
So we said, okay, we had a meeting late night in a club called Rock in Osaka. Everybody's hanging out. We said, okay, let's do this right in Tokyo now. And everybody was really focused. And I remember after the show, because the promoter, the management of the label was a bit, because you had some throat problems.
Yeah.
With the singing, that was a big issue, the vocals, because of the long flight with the air conditioning and everything. You just didn't sound right.
Wasn't there.
Yeah,
It wasn't there. No.
shit happens. And so when we got to Tokyo and you have get sort of into it and get your voice back and everything, we say, okay, let's get focused and do this right. And so the Tokyo gig was really amazing. And when I remember when we left the stage, and the promoter, one of the promoters, he was coming at me with open arms, and he was crying. He was crying. He was like, this was the best. He was just.
Oh, you guys are a good band. There's no getting around
So
it.
I'm like, okay, we were probably good today. I get that, you know. So that was a big memory. Sweden Rock Festival. It's also a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Pretty much people.
When
But you know, sometimes the amount of people is not really the same as a good show. I mean, Blatna, for instance, in Czech Republic, that was like 200 people or something, I don't know, but they really rocked. They were really here, and they were like in the faces, they were crazy. So,
They did 2 encores
yeah.
in Blatna because they wouldn't let us go off stage.
As
That's
a support
awesome.
band, and we said, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that, but
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, it was support
2
band.
encores for a support band. That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
We
How the other
asked-
guys are okay?
No,
with
we
it?
had
talked
to
with the
before.
other guys. We say, okay, we're going to do an encore
Yeah,
tonight, and they say, sure enough,
go for it.
go for
Oh,
it.
so they're cool guys.
Yeah.
they
Lord
really
Vulture
are.
is the name of the band, and they're from the Netherlands. Really great band.
Okay, what's the plans for the rest of 2018? Anything big coming on the horizon?
I think that it's something's coming up, but since there are no really signing on the papers yet, I would say like this: there is a tour in September, October somewhere with a couple of other bands, a European tour.
Okay,
But nothing is really written.
it's not done
in
yet.
blood yet. But the plans is for that, and also sort of mini festival or a showcase in Greece, in Thessaloniki, in August or September, and then we will finish up the next album, which we are doing right now. Actually, I'm writing, and to this day I have like 8 or 9 songs written, and we should sit together.
Are you gonna,
in,
is Max going to produce it?
hopefully, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm going to New York in August to meet Max,
Okay.
and we're gonna sit down in his studio and just look over everything and discuss and try to rearrange, and if necessary. So me and Andy, we will sit in July together. Rent some space somewhere.
Well, Andy, I know you got to go. I'll end this interview with a question because we have people around the world, a lot in South America now. Where can they buy your stuff? What's the best way to buy your albums, your music from Mean Street?
I would say that they should go to our Facebook and follow the links to our record company, which is Rock of Angel Records.
Okay.
It's based in Greece. Or they can buy from one of the bigger suppliers in Europe, which is Nuclear Blast Web Shop, for instance. All of the major web shops in Europe have it. So they can probably find it there. But the best way, and if they cannot find it, just go on Facebook, look up Mean Streak, and add us, send us a message. We will fix it. Of course.
Hey, you guys out there, you should go buy it. Really
Yeah.
good dudes, and I'm telling you, really good music. Check them out. And so this is Dave Yargmetal and
This is Peter of Mean Streak.
And Guerin.
Mean Street.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks, guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.